and I love hip hop the most. So
that's what you
that's
chose.
what I wanted to do. Yeah, that's what I chose. Yeah.
Good choice, man. Yeah. So moving here to Atlanta, I'm sure it was like a completely different world. Did you because you were still young when you moved here, still in high school
14,
or whatnot. So did you think that, okay, I'm gonna come to Atlanta and it's gonna be on?
Oh, absolutely. It was just simply because it was more opportunity. It's a bigger city, and it was hot at the time. Like it was like burning hot. Like you had Tip, Luda. You had like these guys were like scorching at the time. You know what I mean? So
yeah. When did that reality check come that it wasn't just gonna be easy as being there and being dope?
Man, for me, I think it was, from my understanding, I just wanted to be better than everybody else, and I knew that was going to take some time. So I think that's what it was, like developing as an artist. That way, like he said, when I got with him, I didn't, want to, he said, I didn't want to go through that development process.
Sure.
I didn't want it to be difficult, like I said, just getting the material right. But I knew firsthand, like, that was going to take some time, being doper than everybody.
Yes, so who were you battling at the time? I mean, saying like in basketball, like you brought up, if you don't want to be a scrub your whole life, you got to kind of play against, the cats that are older than you, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I was 14, walking from Northside Drive to Clark, Atlanta, or skipping school. I went to Washington High School, was like around the corner from.
Makes sense that you were skipping,
Clark, yeah. So I would walk over there and just battle whoever would rap. I had an older homie who had friends that went to Clark, Atlanta, so he would introduce me. And, just naturally, that competitiveness as rappers, you battle it out. So,
how were those battles, man? Like, because you can hear that in your music. Like, you can hear that hunger, that aggressiveness, that bars for days, man. So how was a 14, 15, 16-year-old Nick Grant battling 18, 19, 20-year-olds?
It was fun for me, man. It, still sharp and still. I think it made me better as an artist. I feel like to be great, you have to go through that. You have to battle, other people. That was fun for me. It kind of made me better.
Now, how did these cats take to losing to a 15-year-old though? Like, was it times where you had to goddamn fight to get off the damn campus?
Nah, it was it was never a fight, Yeah.
They couldn't have a 15-year-old.
Yeah,
that'd have been even worse.
Yeah, can't lose and want to fight, they're kids. So yeah, nah, it was never like really aggressive at the end of those battles. It was just a respect thing,
For sure, man. So it's like, like growing up in, South Carolina, man, anybody that's like listened to enough of your music or, might have read some things about you, they know that, you had a moms that, had addiction issues, you know what I'm saying? Pops had similar issues as well, man. It's like, I guess like at that point, did you decide that, I need to get out of this place? Like, how did you like deal with all of that, saying as a youngster? Like, did you decide at that age that, okay, I need to get the hell up out of South Carolina or,
Absolutely. I had older people that I grew up under, so, they kind of took me in. Like, my grandmother took me in when I was 5 years old until I was 15, until I moved here. So, a lot of things that I learned in the way I carry myself today, I learned through her and my grandfather. And they were on opposite ends of the family, so it was kind of difficult. I had to be with one this week and another this week, but a lot of the things that I learned that made me who I am today came through them. And watching my mother have this addiction, I don't want to do that because I saw how she turned out. And my father not being around, I don't want to do that either because I saw how he turned out. But, so you can credit that to my grandfather and my grandmother.
What's some of the game that your grandparents gave you growing up that you still recall to this day?
I said this way, but it was like the simple things for me. Shake firm handshakes, stare people in the eye, walk with you, walk strong, pull your pants up. It's just a simple thing. People judge you, they look at the surface first. So if they, if they see something solid in that, you're going to go to the next step.
Now, did these same grandparents initially support a career in hip hop? A lot of times when, when you're like the youngest person in the family, you coming up from a certain situation, they're like, man, you about to be the crown jewel. You gonna make it, maybe. You need to get a jump shot or goddamn learn these computers.
I mean, they were a lot older, so they were a lot older, and I was young, so they really couldn't keep up with me. You know what I mean? So, my grandmother was like 75 when she took me in, so
gotcha.
It was like the main things would just keep me in the house and feed me. The basic stuff. Everything else was just me. Being in the neighborhood and, coming in late. I got in a lot of trouble. But, You know, it was just the simple things.
No, when you came here, you moved with family or what?
Yeah, I moved with. It's kind of weird. I moved with my mother and father. They tried to get it together in like '96.
Okay.
Then I went to like 15 different schools. That's like a really long story. But yeah, I moved here from '96. That didn't work out. Moved back to South Carolina. Moved back here again. It was a lot of back and forth.
Right.
Yeah.
How'd you keep your head on straight during all of that? Like, a lot of people just completely fall apart when they do with family things like that.
I think it's just prayer, you know. A lot of prayer, man. Just staying confident in yourself and, you know, not succumbing to the things that you see every day. You know, I think it's just a lot of prayer.
What role did hip hop play in that, just keeping you sane during those periods?
It gave me something to aspire to more than anything. Yeah.
Now, Jason, did you know all of this about this man when you was like, oh, I really like this dope rapper?
Nah, I mean, I definitely didn't know all of this, but honestly, I'm not surprised. I wasn't surprised to hear, you know, some of the struggles and the challenges that the homeboy had to, you know, endure throughout his life, you know, from the standpoint of, for real, like, it's certain rappers, man, that like you said, like when you're young, you know, you could rhyme rhymes, but unfortunately, like, experience is like the best. You know what I'm saying? Like, so back to what you were saying, like when you're young, man, and it's, are you rhyming, but what are you saying? You know, and that's just the reality where, like, some of the artists that at a young age, you don't really have many experiences, so, you know, it could be kind of hard. You know, you really got to say something in a different way that, you know, that's kind of generic in a sense, you know? So when you hear an artist that's young and you hear somebody that kind of, that you can see, like, yo, you got some wisdom, you know, you're older than your actual age,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So obviously you've experienced more than the average person that's your age, you know? So like you said, it's like, all right, you know, there's definitely something behind that, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that you know, it's like that man-child kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you young, but like, don't get it twisted, like, you know. So I mean, even Nick as a dude, for real, like, even outside of rapping, I mean, like, the way he carries himself, you could just see, like, okay, you know, you really been around older cats, and you kind of, you know, have had these experiences, like, you know, why other dudes your age are doing certain things, you know, you doing something else for real, you know.
Like, were those the things that made you want to, I guess, put your support behind a new artist again? Because, I mean, you know, folks knew you for years for breaking artists, co-founding Grand Hustle and all that stuff, but, you know, for a minute, it was like, man, Jason Jeter is only in the fashion industry now, bro. He is not fucking with rap right now.
That is very true.
Yeah, nah, sure, without a doubt. And I mean, you know, it's one of those things where, honestly, I've been doing it all my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't understand. Like, for me, like, I was a manager at 21. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, my entire adulthood, I've been a manager. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, you get to a point, I think that's kind of just natural. If you're kind of creative and you're into stuff, you get to a point where it's like, yo, it's getting a little redundant. You know what I'm saying? The same thing. What else can I get to excite me? You know, what can I get into? And, you know, I got other, you know, just into other things, you know. But when I came across Nick for the second time, I think it was dope because it just kind of, the feeling just took me back to what made me want to do it. It took me back to, like, being in high school, you know what I'm saying? And the excitement that I had, like, staying up, like, late at night listening to the Martin Moore show and Stretch Armstrong and Barbito, you know what I'm saying? Like, listening to, like, college radio. It took me back to that, like, hearing Nas and Biggie and, you know, Wu-Tang and all of these artists, all of these MCs for the first time, you know? So for me, you know, that was just a special feeling, and I felt like other people would feel and appreciate it the same way that I did. So, you know, I said I think it's homeboy got a voice and something to add to the game, so he should be heard, you know?
Definitely. Earlier you were talking about how, you know, back then it was normal for somebody to hand you a CD.
Sure.
Now, you know, you were very instrumental in helping break Tip and also repackage Tip for the industry. And for fans. So, but fast forward into 2015, what is the differences that you see in really pushing an artist now and introducing a new artist now?
I mean, excuse me. I think it's kind of crazy right now. You know what I'm saying? Just being that, I think now due to the accessibility of technology, you know,
The internet.
the internet.
You can say internet ain't a cuss word.
Think about it, right? Think about it. So the internet, but I mean even more than that, Pro Tools, all of this stuff that makes a person able to record a song right here at a minimal cost. You know what I'm saying? So it's like obviously you have everybody doing it now. It's like everybody wants to chase the, you know what I'm saying, the dream. Whereas, you know, back in the day, man, like think about it, like number one, you had to go to the studio.
Yeah.
Right. So go to the studio.
That
Someone
costs
had to invest in that, because usually it wasn't going to be you, right? And you hate to say it, but usually it was the local neighborhood guy who has some cash.
Street
to spend.
entrepreneur.
It's the street entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so your neighborhood had to vouch for you from day one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your neighborhood like had to say, yo, Lil Joey is that dude in the neighborhood. You know, and now we're going to, as a neighborhood, as a community, we're going to get behind Joey. Joey going to the studio on Saturday, like, that's where I come from. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, now, man, everybody, your bedroom is right next to your mom's room, and you go from, you know, getting lucky of having some technology and making a song and the shit pop off, and now you out there. You know what I'm saying? Like you just instantly like, oh, I'm out here now. You know, and I think that, you know, at the end of the day, man, like dudes ain't stars though. Like it's not really special. You know what I'm saying? So to me, like I feel like that's what's dope about when you go to other countries, and you go to other countries and like it's not like America. You know what I'm saying? Like the thing that I think is kind of whack about hip hop is, and challenging, and I can only imagine as an artist is frustrating, is that no matter damn near where you go in America to a venue, it's a lot of times it's an artist performing for other artists. You know, like you go to other countries and people kind of like champion the artist still, like
fans.
Fans. I'm not trying to be the artist. You know what I'm saying? You go to, you know, wherever, go to you know, department store, whatever's popping, right? 9 times out of 10, I'm an artist watching an artist, or if I'm not an artist, my man's an artist.
Right.
So I'm sitting here,
or a DJ,
or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there like holding my nuts on you. You know what I'm saying? Because for real, I think I'm doper than you, or my man's doper than you, and you know, so. Like, who's the fans?
Right.
You know.
So how do you overcome that with Nick?
I mean, Nick is dope. Like for real. Like the like, and that's really how you overcome it. Is like, yo, I'm walking a room, and I mean, personally, me, I don't align myself with something that I don't feel that way about. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't think that like I could walk in the room and like you're gonna stand on your own too, or you could stand next to whoever else it is that's supposed to be the best in the room, like, honestly, I ain't gonna come. I'd rather go in another room and do something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to come in that room. Huh?
Can't follow me, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, don't try to get it off me. You know what I mean? Like, we can go in here together, but you ain't gonna come up off me, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, that's my thought process. So I mean, for real, man, like with Nick, and I know people say that and all of that, but it's a difference. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, as they say, like what is a artist or a rapper's favorite rapper, you know, one of those kind of things. Whereas like, yo, like other dudes, they could be aspiring to be a rapper, but it's okay to give it up and say, yo, you know what? Just what you said. You sound like you've been rapping since you was 11, 12 years old.
Exactly.
So you're gonna put work in. So I think as an artist, like it's okay to say, you know what? Like I'm a rapper, I'm aspiring, but like, I'm gonna give you that. You know what I'm saying? It's okay for Honda to say, yo, I make cars, I got Hondas, but Mercedes makes a hell of a car. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay, man. Like, for real.
Right.
You know?
So what I found interesting, because I know, Nick, you dropped, you know, I believe 3 mixtapes, you know, over the time. And you got a little bit of attraction. I remember it's a couple websites. I know Double XL being one of them picked you up a few years ago.
For like the break,
Yeah.
Not much, though, just a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of traction. Yeah. But what I found interesting is, since you guys started working together, nowadays people feel like you got to flood the streets with music.
Right.
But with you, like, you've literally handpicked certain songs to put out to the public, and that's what people have had to marinate with from both of you guys. What was the logic behind really being very selective in what you were allowing people to hear? Because it's sort of a rebranding.
That was like my initial thing, which is putting something out, you know, just drop it and let the people have it, you know.
Right.
But he